What's the greatest lesson you've learned from me? If any. My name is Henry Kiara. I'm 66 years old this year. I've been married for 39 years to my wife, Florence Mwangi. And between us, we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And I'm really happy to have discussions with one of my sons.
My name is Mwangi Kiara. I'm 33, exactly half my dad's age. I am a Kenyan. I work in publishing at the moment. I'm a Christian as well, and I'm not yet a father. I'm hoping that one day I will be. But one thing I have been for the last 33 years is a son, and I'm happy to have this conversation with my dad right now. First question is, tell me what you remember about the first time you met me. I'm guessing that's when I was born.
You were triplets, so there was absolute joy that you were all born healthy and alive, but also mixed with what I would describe as fear, or because you wonder, here is a human being, you're fully responsible. Am I prepared? Am I able?
Would it have been better if you were 1 as opposed to 3, or did the 3 create a bigger, like this whole idea of how we're going to take care of now 4 kids? And
yeah, I guess that was, well, but we knew from quite early that we were expecting 3 babies. So we had at least time to deal with the emotions. So what are the 3 main memories we share, in your view?
I would think the question is probably the main ones in terms of the happiest or something. I think I remember maybe the 3 that would come to mind for me would be, I remember when we used to live in Muguga, used to drive government Land Rovers. And I remember, I think you'd drive when you're coming back from work, you'd stop somewhere and we'd hop onto the driver's seat and I'd sit on you and then drive the Land Rovers. And those used to be the best moments ever. So I think, because even later I've developed a love for Land Rovers. So I think, to be honest, they're very unreliable cars, they're very uncomfortable cars, but I think that memory was very happy in terms of just being able to, it felt nice to that's one. And also 2 that are a bit similar in terms of, I think I had just moved to Dubai in 2016, and early 2017 you and Mom came to Dubai. I think we were shopping for the catering business or something, but also doing a couple of things. But I think we spent a week, me and Mom, which was very, very meaningful and good. And I would say the 3rd one was also Dubai. I think when all of us were able to go for the graduation, and I think back to that 2019, I think June, and it was excellent. And I think for you, just make it specific, going to the graduation, you and Mom, I think was a great memory. So for me, I'd say those are maybe among many, maybe if I could filter, and maybe might change tomorrow, I think those are 3 memories that I would say that were very, very meaningful.
When we took you to boarding, it didn't...
No, that one was a terrorizing memory, because I remember thinking, how are we gonna I think we loved day school, a comfort zone in the school that we were, Fairlawn. So I remember going to boarding, but then it quickly turned to be very nice at boarding school. We enjoyed boarding school, but I remember it just being like, and of course other memories include the holidays we've gone to, the evenings we spent at home, and a lot of those memories. If you could go back to a time I was born, if you go to that, I think that around that time, if you were to go back to that time I was born, what advice would you give yourself about raising me?
I would specifically set time to be with you, to teach you, to raise you. I will look for more time. I know when you were growing, there were a lot of challenges, career, and looking to make ends meet, but I would create time to spend with you, to teach you things, to teach you values, that's what I would do.
So the time, of course, we'd have spent more time together, but I don't think it would ever amount to a point where I'd feel, we didn't spend enough time together. And especially even the evenings, most evenings we ate dinner together, we spent a lot of time together. Yeah.
My turn now?
Yeah.
What's, and this is interesting.
Yeah.
What's the greatest lesson you've learned from me? If any.
Even, yeah.
What's the greatest lesson you'd say you've learned from me?
Yeah. I think you're probably one of the most consistent people that I know. There's never a time at home I ever felt like you are not around, the instability. I've grown up now and I've come to realize that that's the norm with a lot of people's families, to feel like maybe things are not, certain, they don't know where dad is going to be. And I think for me, one of the greatest lessons I think I've learned is stability and consistency, especially with work, with friendships, with family, that consistency. I think for me that's probably the biggest I'd say I've learned. And also, I think another one would be loyalty. Whether to family, whether to friends. I've seen you help friends, I've seen you go out of your way to. I think for me that would be those two, particularly, just especially the consistency. Like, we make fun at home, like if there was ever a person to get a long service award from our workplace, it would be you, because and you did. When were you most proud of me? I know I've been an excellent son. Anyway, I'm kidding, but when were you most proud of me?
I can think of numerous of occasions, but the one that stands out to me, and I've shared this with some people, is when you're at university, you instead of going for a birthday party for one of your classmates.
Yeah. And
I knew your mother and I were very anxious because we were fearing it can turn out untidy and stuff.
Yeah.
But we said, okay, you are at university, if we haven't taught you anything, then it's too late now too. And so we let you go. And to my absolute pride, when we woke up in the morning, the party turned out bad, and you took your sisters out of and you came home, I think like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. You deserted the party, and that to me, I felt you don't need to worry. You have your values, you know when to say no. Yeah. And to me, that was one of the most proudest moments of my life.
Wow, that's good to hear. This one, I suppose, is more for you and mom as well, in terms of what sacrifice, and it's an interesting one. What sacrifice have you made? It could be you or mom or you two together. What sacrifices have you made that you feel I have not acknowledged?
I don't feel that way. I don't. And you've actually said it quite often, that you appreciate the sacrifices we've made. I can't think of anything very specific, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can ask this.
Uh-huh.
What one thing do you think I don't understand about you?
Just one.
Well,
No. Just one would be.
one.
There's this idea sometimes that when we're growing up, our parents are from another generation, they don't really understand us, they don't really get me. And it's always interesting to me how diverse our personalities are, even at home. It's not so much that you haven't understood, but I think sometimes I have my personality, or I think of like it's very different from what you are, and I think sometimes it's maybe surprised you a little bit in terms of how different we are, how I can be working in a job and 6 months later I tell you maybe it's not really the one I want, and so I think it's probably not that you have struggled to understand, it's that it's not what you do at all. Like, you are a more consistent person in terms of longevity, whilst I'm a more, here and there. Yeah, so I think that's, if this were to be our last conversation, what one thing would you want me to remember about you, about us, about me?
That if this is the last conversation we ever had,
Yeah.
that you'd always remember that whatever I've done, whatever I've not done, I love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
That it's not for lack of that, or for that I didn't do something or I did something.
Yeah.
That you'd have that guarantee that I didn't do it out of anything,
Yeah.
but it's because of my absolute and then conditional love for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I made many mistakes. There are many things I never did. There are many things I should have done. But it's not for lack of loving you.
Mm.
If this was to be our
Absolute last.
conversation, that I would like you to remember.
Okay. Yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice to hear.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think when I'm long gone will be my legacy?
Sometimes, that's an interesting question. What if, even if you're not long gone, I would still say, if I was half the man that you are, I think I'd be okay. I think I'd be okay with my family like that. In terms of your legacy, would be in terms of our family, you'd be a very loving father, a very consistent person. I think you're the funniest person in our family in terms of humor, and
Really?
we absolutely think that you're the funniest in the family. I probably come a very close second, but but I think you'd leave a legacy of being a very happy and funny and humorous person as well. The scriptures say, I think, a man who doesn't leave an inheritance to the family is worse than an infidel or worse than an unbeliever. I think you live, if you ever left, and God, of course, I hope that God gives you many, many years, that if you left, you'd live we'd be very sad, but be very, feel privileged to have had you as a father. Then I think your friends would know you as a very helpful person, in terms of, I've seen you help people even when it was costly for you and mom to help people, to give, or to be there for people. I've seen people come ask you for counsel, for advice, and so I think you'd be known as and I think for me the most important, and what would actually overarch the reason you've been what you are, I would credit it to you becoming a Christian early in life, rather in campus, and so I think you'd be known as a very godly man, a very a Christian, a proper Christian. That for me would overarch everything else in terms of your character, You're a very, very, very honest person. Very honorable in terms of like there is absolutely no chance, I think, if in terms of being duplicitous, being a bit crookish, absolutely zero chance. So that's actually one other thing that I think we'd know you for, and legacy is a absolutely honest person. You're the kind of person I think who would give your word on something and we'd know that it's true. Yeah, for me those I think would be the legacy that you'd leave.
And I have a question like the one you asked, that if this was to be our last conversation,
Yeah.
and I pray that it won't be,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you would want me to remember?
You've absolutely done enough for me. I don't think there's anything else I'd want from you guys, from you. I don't think there's anything that I'd ever say that you should ever. I don't think you should ever think that I could have done better as a father, as a man, as a friend. I think for me, if I die today, the one thing I would want you to remember is that I also very much love you, respect you. I think you and Tim are probably the biggest influences in my life.
You are probably the most talented in our family, in all things, in many things. Yeah, you're right, we are very different.
Yeah.
We are less open and yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that notwithstanding, I think I would not be humoring anyone to say that you and Tim have absolutely been there. And since Tim came way after, I think he learned a lot from you. There's a thing you once used to say, that God doesn't have grandchildren. And I think you keep saying that all the time. That that God entrusts, really that God really entrusts sons to their fathers, in terms of, it's funny, in the kingdom of God, like you and I are brothers. So I think you've absolutely stewarded what was given to you by God very well. So it's actually been more enjoyable for me than I didn't think it was not going to be enjoyable, but it's exceeded my expectations. Like I've really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah.
When Emily asked me, I was a little bit hesitant because first of all, I didn't know the questions, but when I saw them, I actually thought they were very good questions.
Yeah.
Because it's very rare to have a structured
conversation,
honest conversation with a son. So actually, I found this very helpful.
Very helpful, and
to
enjoyable.
say things that perhaps we have no opportunity to say in the normal day-to-day living.
Yeah.
So I think it was very
educative
in my view.